Studs. Welcome to Jethro's Garage. Tonight we're going to be looking at putting these ARP main studs and the crank and main bearings in. Follow along as we get this done. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all these bolt holes out. So now, because I'm putting in studs, they go in hand tight. Should be good, should have been good to begin with. I will make sure I check all these cam bearings for anything. I just put these in. Next, we're going to go find us some good old Loctite. You'll also want to clean your threads on your bolts, but these have already been cleaned. I kind of got that taken care of to begin with. Okay, just double checking here, and let's make sure they're all the same exact thing, and then I'll start putting them in. Okay, that they are. Okay, use this orange Loctite here. I don't need these no more. Boy, that block sure does look good. Except for that weird greens on the bottom. But okay. I'll just take and start these. I ain't planning on putting a ton of Loctite on them. ARP doesn't even, they say if you're going to put it on there, you need to have everything done before it sets. So in other words, I need to torque everything down before the Loctite sets. It's a pretty easy little task here. I don't want to get any excess Loctite on it like I did just there around the threads. I don't want it anywhere near my bearings or anything. Don't want it anywhere in my in my engine other than where it goes. Okay, now let's run them down. We'll do them roughly hand tight. Okay, this, just so you know, this little gun doesn't have a whole lot of torque, so. Now, for bearings. I'm gonna use some gloves. I want to ensure I'm being clean, putting these bearings in. So let's see, what have we got here? So these bearings will tell me if they're upper or lower. Pretty sure, but I can't see. This says lower, so that means this is upper. See, what are all these? These are all uppers. Okay. Let's see. Standard, upper. I think I'm good as far as where they go. I think they're all the same. Well, that ain't good. Let me get that piece of glove out of there that I just trapped in under the bearing. Okay. Make sure. Yep. Upper. Upper. And upper. These are all standard bearings. Okay, move this out of the way now and put the goo on. Yeah, I'm sitting here doing this. I know it's already been checked, but I want to check my clearances. What I do. Let's go ahead and check our clearances. They have been checked, but so that means I need to install the rest of these bearings. 2, number 3, number 4. Trying to be real careful with this stuff because, well, it gets expensive. Shoot, it don't get expensive. It is expensive. Put me a little goo on all the, well, I'm gonna save the goo till I put the cam in. Okay, that answers that question. Okay, let's tighten these. Let's put some washers and everything on it and tighten it down to 80 foot-pounds. As far as I can tell, these washers don't have a up or down. Wow. I always start all of my nuts or bolts by hand. Always. You'd never know. If you try to start it by machine, you're liable to get, you're liable to mess things up. When I loosen all this up and take it off, that's when I'm going to put my assembly lube on it for the nuts that they want you to use here. But for now, I'm just trying to get a measurement. I'm gonna have to probably wipe all that gunk off of the bearings, but we'll get a measurement on these. What is that? So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and snug all this down, and then I'm going to torque it. I'm going to start out, I think I started out at 40 foot-pounds. My second step, I went to 60, and on my third step, I hit my final torque at 80 foot-pounds. We'll see here in a little bit. I'm going to check all my clearances. I'm gonna get me a measurement on my crank and then get me a measurement on my, you know, bearing, you know, inside diameter there. But anyway, it took me forever. I'm gonna try to cut a little bit of it down and a little bit of it out, because it's not like there's a whole lot of talking during it. It's just me bumbling my way through checking these bearing clearances. Y'all enjoy this little piece here. Okay, let's get our measurements now. Whew. So I had to kind of pause everything. I ended up, so I had the motor, the engine, this part here, I had it over there. Didn't have this table over here, and I had all kind of stuff in the way. I started tripping over stuff. Believe me, it's far from clean, but I had to get some stuff straight so I could actually do some work in here without breaking my neck. So I did that, and now I'm gonna get back to it. Another thing is I do have calipers. I mean, not calipers. I do have micrometers. I'm not sure you call them micrometers. I'll show you. Okay, they are micrometers. Sometimes verbiage isn't my friend. I don't know why, but anyway. So I'm gonna do this right way, and I'm gonna measure my crank. I have already measured the inside of the bores, and I've took them apart all except for the last. Let me show you what I got here. So what I did is I started out with a 2.24, and I would figure out how much under that I was. So I set my zero on my inside micrometers and figured out how much under, then I would subtract that. And then I would subtract it from whatever that particular one was. So I'm not all the way through yet. All I gotta do is subtract these, that 0.013 from the 0.224 or 2.24 to get what my diameter is, the inside of my bearings, and then get my bearing surfaces here and see how much clearance I got. Okay, we're gonna measure this crank. So this is the front, this is the rear. And I'll measure the mains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This right here is a 2 to 3 inch dial caliber, and it measures down to 1/1000. So I know that this is over 2 inches. So I'm going to bring this out. Until I can get a good measurement. Okay, I measured my main, my first main, and got what do we got? 2.249. Then I took that micrometer. Where did I put it? I put it in a vise to hold it, and then I set this one to 0 on that. So 0 is here. And after, I pull it out, come back. So I go in here and I get my lowest measurement. Get it in a couple places. And that should be my clearance. So on this one, I'm getting 3/1000. I'm going to do the rest of them like that, but as I'm doing it, I'll measure the main, and then I'll set the caliper or the cylinder gauge and go in and check it. As I'm doing that, I'm going to be pulling these mains off as I go down because I can't get to them all that well. But that's kind of how it's done. Do that, and as soon as I get through doing that, I can put this crank in. So I went ahead and checked all the mains, and they're all measuring just right on the money. So I shouldn't have to change this up any. So I've got just like 0.0027 on this one, right there. Let's turn that over so I can get a better look at it. A little more right there. About 4/1000 right there. These are supposed to be a little extra clearance. So let's take this one off. When I get in here further, it gets a little aggravating because it's still, I got stuff in my way. Okay, let's install this seal. So this seal goes right here, and we'll butt it all the way up once we get everything in, but we're gonna slide it on now because it might make it a little easier. This has got a nice thin coat of WD-40 on it. I just got through cleaning all the main bearings in this. So the open end of this seal goes towards the front of the engine. The closed end of the seal goes towards the back. So let's get this thing on here. Because like it wants to really go on, like it is happy going on there. There we go. I knew it wanted to be on there. I'm using a Fel-Pro. And now let's go back here. So here's what I've done. I have pulled all those main studs out, cleaned them off, put Loctite on them again, and put them back in. Now, with my clean hands, I'm going to put us some more lube on this. Then I'm gonna set the cam on, the crank. Then I'm gonna put I'm gonna lube our mains up, our caps, and then put them on. Let's do this, because we're not hurting anything. Putting a little extra on it, I don't think. Get that thrust bearing surface. A little more on this side. The whole goal for this is to protect the engine until we get oil pressure. So you want to limit, we're going to want to limit the amount of times we turn this engine over. The bad thing is we got to degree this cam. That'll be the next thing we do after we get this in here is degree the cam, or put one piston in, number one piston, degree the cam, a little extra here. And man, for me, it might take me 13 times turning it over to get the daggone thing right. Okay, now to put this cam in here. And being I ain't got nowhere to hold. Let's do this. This is a tricky part because, well, okay, there's that. Now let's see if, think this one or this one hit on this side. So let's see if I got any damage anywhere. So far I'm not seeing any. It's just so daggone tricky. Yeah, I'll look good. Okay. Now let's set these, let's put these cam bearing, these mains in place. Some of these, I got a little bit on there. I got to pull that number 3 back off. I didn't make sure it was on the sides. Let me push this seal up. Should have did this sooner. I got to push this seal up in place. Okay, now let's tap them. Do a little tappy. And now I'm going to check and make sure everything's lined up. Got to get some light. Okay, that looks good. Okay, I'm gonna tap the rest of these on, and by the time you come back, I'm going to lube up all of my bolts, my nuts, and I'm gonna place them, I'm gonna have them on here, and I'll bring you back for when we start doing the torque on them. Okay, I've got all these others done, but I want to show you. What I'll do on this, so I'll take the thread on this, and I'll sort of coat it all the way around. And then I'm going to put a little bit on the face of that bolt, because when it hits that washer down here, I don't want it grabbing a hold of that washer and galling and giving me a bad torque reading. Okay, it's time for the torque wrench. Okay, I'm going to check the thrust surfaces on this. And I'm probably looking for around 6 thousandths, but it may be tighter. I'm going to make sure I'm using a nice clean filler gauge. Get to use my snap-ons. And I got a few of them set up already. So this one is the dual that's 4 thousandths and 6 thousandths. So I am pretty tight here. Wow, the 4 thousandths isn't fitting. Okay, yeah. Okay, I was able to get 3 thousandths clearance out of it. I'm gonna call the machine shop tomorrow, and if it's wrong, I'll pull this back apart. Okay, I'm gonna catch everyone up to where I'm at. I just got through with doing a live on my Facebook channel. I will put a link to that here below if you want to check me out on the face page or the page of faces. Bottom line is I didn't have enough clearance on my thrust bearing, so I had to make it. But I think I'm where I need to be now, so it's time to get this thing torqued down. I'm gonna do 3 steps. I gotta double check what my torque settings are. Doggone it. I lost them. So I might have to go through some stuff and check. But anyway, I believe it's 80 foot-pounds. As a matter of fact, I think it's right here. Yep, it's 80 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna do 30, I'm gonna do 60, and I'm gonna do 80. I've already got my thrust pushed forward, so let's get this done. I'm using, actually, it's 40, 60, 80. This is an old beam style. I'm gonna do 40 and 60 with it, and then I'm gonna use my digital for 80. I probably should be doing both my bearings at the same time instead of doing a cross. I have put the nice little ARP thread, what is it, fastener assembly lube on it. I seen a thing on Torque Test channel today. They released a video today talking about torque wrench myths, and a lot of them I knew what I knew some of them were myths. The ones that were myths and one that wasn't myths, I knew they wasn't. But the one I didn't realize was so significant was he showed the difference in torquing a bolt down that didn't have anti-seize on it, and one that did. And Lord have mercy, it was 100 foot-pounds for the one that didn't, and he still had the torque wrench set on 100 foot-pounds, and he turned around and ended up able to put 200 foot-pounds on it with the torque wrench set to 100 foot-pounds. So I am sure with these, the way they are, with this assembly load, this 80 foot-pounds is probably more. You got to watch with this beam style, because if you put your fingers right here when you do this, man, it will smack them good. Let's see, there's 60. Make sure 65, 70, 75. Yep. Now after I do this, I'm gonna double check, make sure I'm good on my how free it is to turn. I have got extra clearance bearings on this. So, well, they're called X bearings. In here in my flip-flops and my shorty shorts. Well, they're not shorty shorts. They go down below my knees. But still. When I was a kid, it was always funny to see old man in shorts. So, okay. Now let's get my digital out. I guess I can't say that I don't trust that torque wrench, because I don't. I mean, I do, but not as much as I should. Do I have batteries in this? Yeah. Wonder if they went dead on me. I usually don't keep batteries in them. Okay. Yep, it's set on 80. Turn her off, and now let's check free movement in that. Where is my crank socket? I ain't gonna be able to do a whole lot this weekend because I messed around and didn't get a crank pin. Not a pin. Dang it, I can't think of what the name of it is. It's a shear pin, shear key, keyway. So if you're wondering what I'm doing here, bottom line, I'm gonna see how much torque it takes to turn this over. let's see, which way does it turn? It's all backwards, and I believe it goes this way. Wow. Let's do this. So the most it took right there was about 20 foot-pounds, or 20 inch-pounds, I'm sorry. But regular turning, we're looking at 10. It's pretty good, I think, anyway. So with that done, the next thing is to put a piston in number 1. Well, the next thing, should I put a piston in number 1 first and then put my cam in? No matter what, I've got to put a piston in number 1, and I've got to put my cam in and my timing chain on, and I got to see if I've got interference. So we'll see. I'll let y'all know. Hey, I hope y'all liked this video. There was a lot to it. I cut out a lot. There was almost 2 hours of footage. I shrunk down some of it. I cut some out. There was some that was kind of duplicate material because I had trouble. To begin with, I was only getting about 2.5 thousandths to 3 thousandths for my thrust bearing. And after fooling with it forever, talked to the machine shop and everything, we come up with a solution. I put that into effect, put the thrust bearing back in, I'm getting 5 thousandths, almost 6 thousandths. Checked it initially with a filler gauge, and then I checked it with a dial indicator on the end, check the end plate. So it's back together, we're back together. Next thing I gotta do is I gotta gap the rings and get all the pistons ready to go in. That'll be my next video. I don't know what I was talking about in the video, but my next video, I'm gonna work on the rings. It should be a quick one because I'm not gonna show you me doing every one of them. Just, we'll talk about it and then I'll do a pair, maybe even put a pair on. But other than that, after that's done, I'll start putting it together. I am going to only put one piston in. Then I'm going to put the cam in, put the timing chain on, and we'll get her up on top dead center, get everything degreed in, put a head on it with checker springs. I think I'm gonna use checker spring. I don't know. But anyway, put a head on it and see how much room those valves got. Y'all take care. Thank y'all for watching. If you would, like and subscribe. And hey, if you learned something, let me know. If y'all see me doing something wrong, because y'all probably saw me doing things wrong. I tried to correct what I could. Let me know. Y'all take care.